I think it's about 300 songs that John and I wrote together. We never had a dry session.
He doesn't look back with regret. He doesn't rank his memories. Paul McCartney simply remembers. And somehow, when he does, the world feels a little warmer. For over 6 decades, his melodies have carried hope. There are clever songwriters, technical songwriters, but no one writes straight to the heart like Paul. He was the melody maker, the eternal optimist, the one who kept harmony alive when everything else fell apart. And today, we're diving into the 5 Beatles songs Paul still holds closest to his heart, the ones that shaped not just the band, but the man. Before we begin, hit subscribe and ring the bell, because this isn't just music history, it's emotional archaeology. Let's uncover the songs that still make Paul McCartney believe that love really is all you need. Number 1, Let It Be, the prayer in the chaos.
To me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
Some songs are written, others are received. For Paul, Let It Be was a message, or maybe a miracle. It came to him in a dream about his mother, Mary, who had passed away when he was just 14. In that dream, she was there again, calm, reassuring, radiant, telling him that everything would be okay, that he should stop fighting and just let things happen. Paul woke up with the melody already in his head. The words flowed like they were meant to be. He sat at the piano and played, not as a superstar, but as a son. By the time the Beatles recorded it, everything around him was falling apart. Arguments, lawyers, endings, but let it be cut through the noise like sunlight through a storm.
Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
It wasn't just a song anymore. It was a hymn, a prayer disguised as pop, the simplicity of the piano, the gospel warmth. It all felt like a mother's hug in musical form. Audiences cried, not from sadness and from recognition. Everyone had lost someone. Everyone needed those words. Paul turned his own grief into something universal. Proof that letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that everything will work out. For Paul, Let It Be represents the power of faith, how private pain can become shared healing, and how the simplest message can hold the deepest truth. Number 2, Penny Lane, the sound of home.
In Penny Lane, there is a barber showing photographs of every head he's had the pleasure to know.
Home isn't just a place. Sometimes it's a song. Penny Lane was Paul's love letter to Liverpool, to childhood, to bus stops and barber shops, to the people who made him who he was before the world changed everything. He walked that street every day as a kid. He knew every shopkeeper, every character. And when fame took him far away, those faces stayed with him. So he painted them in melody, turning his neighborhood into a musical postcard. Every detail mattered. The trumpet solo that sounds like sunshine. The harmonies that feel like old friends singing together. The rhythm that moves like memory itself. Recording it wasn't about nostalgia. It was time travel. Paul wanted listeners to feel that warmth too. To step into a world where the summers never ended, and everyone still knew your name. And that's exactly what happened. Penny Lane became a place people could visit without ever going there. It made strangers nostalgic for lives they'd never lived. For Paul, Penny Lane isn't just about where he came from. It's about never losing touch with it, because growing up doesn't mean forgetting. It means looking back with love, not regret. Number 3.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they...
Yesterday. The song that wrote itself. Some dreams fade when you wake up. Paul's dream gave him yesterday. He opened his eyes one morning with a complete melody in his head. Every note, every word. Perfect, whole. He ran to the piano, afraid it might vanish. What came out was pure emotion, so simple it scared him. He thought he must have stolen it. The tune felt too timeless, too familiar, but no one had heard it before. It was his. When the Beatles tried to record it, it didn't fit. No drums, no harmonies. too quiet, too personal. So Paul recorded it alone, his voice trembling against a gentle string quartet. It was the first Beatles track that truly sounded naked, and it changed everything. People covered it immediately, hundreds, then thousands of versions. Because Yesterday wasn't just about heartbreak anymore. It became about loss itself. Lost time, lost people, lost versions of ourselves. Every performance Paul gives still sounds different, sometimes soft and mournful, sometimes strong and accepting, because Yesterday grows up with him. A mirror reflecting every stage of his life. It's proof that vulnerability connects us all, that the songs which scare us to share are the ones the world needs most.
About a lucky man who made the grade.
A Day in the Life. The Art of Collaboration. 4 minds. 1 masterpiece. A Day in the Life shouldn't have worked. John had 1 fragment, dark, dreamlike. Paul had another, bright, ordinary. 2 different worlds. But together, they created magic. John's verses painted tragedy like poetry, stories ripped from the newspaper, sung like ghost tales. Paul's section snapped back to life, a man running for the bus, brushing off sleep, living in the routine of being human. 2 extremes, life and death, dream and daylight, and the bridge between them, that legendary orchestral crescendo, chaos becoming beauty. Paul remembered how wild that session was. 40 musicians told to climb from the lowest note to the highest, each in their own way. The result? A sound that still feels like the universe expanding. Radio stations didn't know what to do with it. Critics called it nonsense, then genius. But Paul knew what it was. Proof of what happens when 4 people trust each other completely. A Day in the Life is the sound of collaboration, of egos dissolving into creation. It's not just the peak of the Beatles, it's the moment they became artists. Number 5, Here Comes the Sun. Hope in 3 minutes. Not every favorite was Paul's own. Some love stories are about admiration, and for Paul, Here Comes the Sun was George's masterpiece. And one of the most beautiful songs the Beatles ever recorded. George wrote it in Eric Clapton's garden, escaping the endless business meetings and tension. He sat down with an acoustic guitar and found hope in the warmth of spring. Paul heard it and knew instantly, this is special. It was the sound of peace, the Beatles, for one fleeting moment, working in harmony again. Paul's bass danced around George's melody like they were old friends finding each other. The Moog synthesizer added magic without drowning the heart. Every note glowed with light, and that's what made it timeless. Here Comes the Sun became everyone's healing song. Weddings, recoveries, farewells, new beginnings. It brought comfort wherever it played. For Paul, it represents everything he loved about George. The sincerity, the spirituality, the quiet strength, and every time he performs it, he still smiles. Not from sadness, but gratitude. Because sometimes the simplest songs carry the biggest hope. That no matter how dark things get, the sun will always return. For Paul McCartney, songs aren't just melodies. They're memories, living proof that emotion outlives everything else. Let it be. Penny Lane, Yesterday, A Day in the Life. Here Comes the Sun. Each one a fragment of his soul. Each one a reminder that optimism isn't naive. It's powerful. He turned pain into peace, memory into melody. And somehow, half a century later, his songs still make the world feel safe. Because Paul McCartney doesn't just remember, he teaches us how to. Which Beatles song brings you the most joy? Tell us in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that go beyond fame, into the heart of the artists who changed music forever.